drive home from the doctor's office was 22 minutes. I know because I watched the clock on the dashboard the entire time. Dale drove. I sat in the passenger seat with a pamphlet in my lap. Understanding Your Diagnosis, and I reached for his hand on the center console the way I had 1,000 times in 40 years. He didn't pull away, but he didn't hold on either. His hand just sat there, limp, present the way a coat left on a chair is present. 40 years, and I could always read Dale's silences. His angry silence was tight, jaw, shoulders, the way he gripped the steering wheel. His tired silence was loose, easy, but this silence in the car that afternoon was something I'd never heard from him before. It was the silence of a man who was already somewhere else. I didn't know that yet, of course. I thought we were scared together. I thought the quiet meant he was processing, that he'd come home, sit at the kitchen table, and we'd figure this out the way we'd figured out everything. Dale handling the logistics, me handling the feelings, the two of us dividing up the work, of living the way we always had. It didn't mean that. That silence was the sound of my husband deciding to leave. I just couldn't hear it yet. Dale was a competent man. I want to be clear about that. When the diagnosis came, he did what Dale always did. He managed the situation. Within a week, he'd called the insurance company, organized my medical records into a binder, scheduled the appointments, and made a spreadsheet of my medications. He was excellent at the machinery of crisis. He always had been, but he wouldn't sit with me. I'd be on the couch, exhausted from the day, and I'd say, "Dale, come sit with me." And he'd say, "Let me just finish this." And he'd find something, always something. The insurance appeal, the lawn, the car that suddenly needed an oil change on a Tuesday night. He organized my cancer the way he'd organized our taxes every April, thoroughly, efficiently, and without once looking me in the eye. I should tell you about Edna, Dale's mother. She got Alzheimer's in 2001, and I nursed her for 7 years. I bathed Edna. I fed her. I held her hand when she screamed at me because she didn't know who I was anymore. I changed her sheets in the middle of the night. I learned to make the soft foods she could swallow when the disease took her ability to chew. 7 years. Dale handled the finances. He called the doctors. He stood in the doorway of Edna's room sometimes, watching me lift his mother out of a soiled bed, and I used to think the look on his face was gratitude. Now I think he was just relieved it was me and not him. The weeks after my diagnosis followed the same pattern. Dale handled the spreadsheet. I handled the fear alone. He stopped sleeping in our bed, said he didn't want to disturb me. He started eating dinner in his car. I'd find the wrappers the next morning. He stopped asking me how I was feeling and started asking me what time the appointment was. He didn't touch me, not once, not a hand on my back, not a kiss, nothing. I became a logistics problem, and Dale was solving me from a distance. One night, it was maybe week 4, I asked him directly, "Dale, are you okay?" He was standing in the hallway with his keys, heading somewhere, always heading somewhere, and he said, "I'm fine, Viv. Let's focus on getting you better." That sentence. Let's focus on getting you better. Like I was a project with a deadline, like the cancer was a problem in his spreadsheet, and once it was resolved, we could get back to normal. He couldn't say he was terrified. He couldn't say he didn't know how to help. He couldn't say anything real, so he said, "I'm fine," the two most expensive words in any marriage. 6 weeks after diagnosis, a Tuesday. I remember because my second chemotherapy session was Thursday, and I'd spent the afternoon writing down questions for the oncologist, side effects, timelines, what to expect. I was trying to be organized. I was trying to be the woman who handles things, even when the thing was my own body failing. I came into the kitchen and Dale was sitting at the table, not eating, not reading the paper, not looking at his phone, just sitting, his hands flat on the table like he was holding it down. I'd known Dale for 43 years, 3 years of dating, 40 of marriage. I had never seen Dale just sit. Dale was a man in motion, always a task, always a project, always a next thing. And here he was, sitting still, and I understood in my body before my mind caught up that something was about to break. He didn't look at me. He spoke to the table. He said he'd been thinking. He said he'd tried. He said he didn't know how to do this. Then he said it, the 5 words I will carry for the rest of my life. "I'm not built for this, Viv." I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't throw anything. My hands went cold, like the blood just left them, like my body heard the words before I did and started shutting things down. He packed a bag that night. Not a suitcase, a gym bag, black, the small one he used for overnight work trips. He took his razor, 2 shirts, his medication, his phone charger. The smallness of that bag. He'd thought about what to take. He'd already decided. This wasn't a breakdown, this was a plan. I stood in the bedroom doorway and watched him zip the bag, and I said, 40 years, Dale. I don't know why those were the words that came out, just the number. Like if he heard it, he'd remember what it meant. He stopped in the hallway, didn't turn around, said, "I know, Viv, I know." Then the front door, then his truck, then nothing. The next morning I came into the kitchen and the coffee maker had enough water for 1 cup. He'd adjusted it before he left. 40 years of 2 cups every morning, and Dale Caldwell's last act in our home was reducing the coffee maker to 1. Thursday I drove myself to Chemo, sat in the chair with the IV drip in my arm and a magazine I couldn't read, and looked at the empty seat next to me. Every other woman in that room had someone, a husband, a daughter, a friend holding their hand. My chair had a purse on it. It took months. I won't pretend the clarity came fast. I was living with my daughter Carolyn by then. She'd moved me in after Dale left. Drove down from Charlotte, packed my things, and set me up in her guest bedroom like she was returning the favour for every time I'd tucked her into bed as a girl. She was gentle with me, patient. She brought me broth when I couldn't keep food down and held my hair, what was left of it, when the nausea hit. And one night, lying in that guest bed, too weak to stand, staring at a ceiling I didn't recognise, it hit me. I was Edna. I was Dale's mother. I was the person who needed someone to show up with a washcloth and a steady hand and the willingness to be in the room when the room was ugly. I had been that person for Edna for 7 years. Dale couldn't be that person for me for 7 weeks. My sister Ruth came down from Roanoke. Ruth is 79, and Ruth has never in her life softened a sentence for anyone's comfort. She sat at my bedside, and I was trying, even then, to explain Dale, to find the reason, to make it make sense. And Ruth looked at me with those eyes she's had since we were girls and said, You nursed his mother for 7 years, and he couldn't nurse you for 7 weeks. I wanted to argue. The reflex was still there. 40 years of defending Dale, of explaining Dale, of translating Dale's absences into a language that sounded like love. But I couldn't argue with arithmetic. Ruth had reduced my entire marriage to a math problem, and the numbers didn't lie. Then Carolyn. A few weeks later, I was trying to eat. Soup, I think. Something simple. And I was having trouble keeping the spoon steady. Carolyn was helping me. And I said what I'd been saying my whole life. What I'd said to everyone who ever had to do anything for me. I'm sorry you have to do this, baby. I'm sorry I'm a burden. Carolyn put the spoon down. She looked at me, really looked at me, and she said, Mama, you took care of everyone in this family for 40 years, and not one person ever asked you if you were okay. That's not love, that's a job. I broke, not quietly, not gracefully. I broke the way a dam breaks. Everything at once, years of it, decades, the whole held-together architecture of being fine just collapsed in my daughter's kitchen. Now, here is where I need to be careful. Because the easy thing, the thing that would make this story simple, is to tell you Dale was a villain, a monster, a man who abandoned his sick wife. But that's not the whole truth, and I promised you the brutal truth, so here it is. Dale wasn't cruel. Dale was a man who was raised in a house where his father went to work and his mother did everything else. He was raised to believe that providing for a family was loving a family. Paycheck, roof, car that runs, insurance that covers the bills. And by that definition, by the only definition he ever learned, Dale loved me well for 40 years. But nobody ever taught Dale that love might mean holding a basin while your wife gets sick. That love might mean learning to cook at 68 because your wife can't stand long enough to reach the stove. That love might mean sitting in the ugliness and the fear and not fixing it, just being in it with someone. He wasn't built for it. He said so himself. And the thing that took me years to make peace with is that he was telling the truth. But I have to own my part too. I spent 40 years being so good at carrying everything that Dale never had to learn. I never asked for help. I never demanded he show up differently. I made it easy for him to be helpless. And then I was devastated when he proved he was. I built the dynamic I ended up drowning in. That's my 40 years of accountability, and I hold it. The question I should have asked, not at 71, not at the doctor's office, but decades earlier, is this: why did I build my life inside a house that had no foundation? It's been 5 years since the cancer, 7 since Dale walked out that door with his gym bag. He's remarried now. I heard from Carolyn. A younger woman, I'm sure she's lovely. I'm sure she makes 2 cups of coffee every morning and doesn't think about what happens when the machine needs to be turned down to 1. I sit in this kitchen every morning, same chair, same window, same mug, 1 cup of coffee, black, and here is the brutal truth, the title promised you. I don't miss Dale. I miss the idea of Dale. The idea that someone would stay. The idea that 40 years meant something unbreakable. But the actual man who looked at his sick wife and said, I'm not built for this. I didn't lose a husband. I lost a habit. If you're married right now, I want you to ask yourself something. Not whether your spouse loves you. That's the easy question. Ask whether your spouse would stay. Not when things are good, Not when you're the one making dinner and keeping the house and remembering every birthday and carrying the whole beautiful, heavy machinery of a life together, but when you can't get out of bed, when you're the one who needs carrying, when you stop being useful and start simply being human. Would they stay? I prayed for God to heal my body. He did. I didn't think to pray about the marriage. Turns out some prayers get answered in ways you don't expect. I'm 76 years old. I survived cancer. I survived the man I loved for 40 years, choosing to leave rather than learn. And I'm sitting in this kitchen in my chair with my coffee, and I'm not waiting for anyone to take care of me. Not anymore. If this reached you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, especially the women who are carrying everything and calling it love.